See you. I'm focusing in. Right. On that dazzling smile. Okay.
So if I look crappy, not my fault. All right. When I came to this country 23 years ago, I dreamed a better life in a place where streets were paved with gold. A place where there would be no hunger for me and my family. I also heard that in America, houses clean themselves. I'm still looking for mine. I had so much to learn growing up in a strange new country. The language, the custom, and the American ways. And I tried very hard to get along, fit in, and not offend anyone. My teenage years were difficult. While everyone around me were talking about boyfriends and girlfriends, I was still playing with toys and dolls because I didn't have those things when I was younger. My parents were strict Catholics, and I was not allowed to date. I never had the proper sex education, and still, I didn't even know where babies come from. At the age of 16, I dated a boy against my parents' wishes, and soon got pregnant. When I told my parents, they kicked me out of the house. I had nowhere to go, but a friend helped me move in with a family that took in pregnant teens. I stayed in school because I knew it was very important to finish my education so I could get a better job and have a good life for me and my girl. The family I lived with turned out to be verbally abusive, and soon I left there and moved into an apartment with my boyfriend and his grandmother. After my daughter was born, we got our own apartment. He worked a full-time job. I was a full-time mom and a student. By the time I finished high school, I had 2 children. But still, I graduated with my class. I worked part-time, helped support the family. When I was 23, we bought our first home, in which we are still in today. Because I wanted my children to grow up in a loving home, away from bad people and racism, which we dealt with on a daily basis. 3 weeks after having my 3rd child, I got a full-time job working 3rd shift. In addition to my part-time job, so I could stay home during the day to take care of my kids. The lack of sleep and returning to work so soon after the birth of my child soon took a toll on my body, so I quit my part-time job. After working 3rd shift and all the overtime they had for about 3 years, I got hurt and I was put on light duty, and soon was laid off because I was useless to the company. After this, I suffered from depression for about 2 years and finally pulled myself together. I started working part-time again for the sake of my family. A few years later, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and decided to go back to school to get a college education. I wanted to get a degree before my oldest daughter graduated from high school. I achieved my goal this spring, and next spring, my daughter is graduating from high school. The entire hurdle I had overcome in my life up to now was all done because I was willing to push forward. I was fortunate enough to have a few good people to help me along the way, but the bulk of it was my doing. I'm standing here today to let everyone know that it can be done. Set a goal, take one step at a time, and so you don't overwhelm yourself. And give it your all, and you'll get there eventually. I hope that my story inspired you to not give up no matter what life throws at you. You may have a few setbacks, but if you're persistent and willing to work hard, you will succeed.